Being able to measure rooms, floors and elevations is an important skill for anybody who needs to carry out property inspections or surveys. In this video, we're going to show you how easy it is to measure rooms accurately so you can communicate the details with other people. You will need some blank paper. A4 is fine. Graph or grid paper can help, or even tracing paper placed over a grid. You'll also need a pencil, clipboard and tape measure. You can use a ruler if you wish. It is common to use a laser measure to take longer or awkward measurements on your own. Phones can also be used to take measurements, but these are not always 100% accurate. You can also use a phone to take pictures. Remember to work safely. Tell people where you're going, don't climb up or lean out over things, and don't point your laser measure near people's faces. Also remember the edge of a steel tape measure can be quite sharp, so be careful. Sketch the rough outline of the room, complete with the doors and windows and the direction in which they open, plus any other details such as pillars or reveals. If you were drawing elevations, you would need to make a sketch of each elevation, including the position of things like windows, radiators, fittings, and any other fixed objects. Remember to record the date, time, and location of the drawing, plus any other details required, for example, a job reference or number. Don't let the survey notes get too cramped. If parts of the rooms contain complicated details or fittings, record these on a separate drawing or a sheet of paper, and take a picture for later clarification. The next step is to add dimensions to your sketch. Use metric measurements for this. In the UK we use millimetres and metres. To avoid confusion between measurements, don't use centimetres. Choose a fixed point to start measuring, normally a corner, and work clockwise around the room so you don't miss anything out. It's normally easier to read the tape measure this way, and remember to keep the tape measure level. Measure the distance from the edge of the room to the edge of the first item you encounter. In our example, this is an encased column. Then measure from the encased column to the wall, and then from the edge of the column to the corner of the room, and so on. Include the size and the position of all the fixed objects. Record your dimensions as you go, 1 or 2 at a time to avoid any errors. If your laser measure stores measurements, confusion can happen if you don't regularly record or update your drawing records. Running dimensions can be used to save time, and they can be more accurate. For example, a running dimension could be where you have a wall of a room 7 metres long containing a 1 metre wide door opening in the middle. This would not be measured in 3 separate dimensions: 3 metres, 1 metre and 3 metres. By using one length of tape, the dimensions are recorded at 3 metres, where the door starts, 4 metres, where the door finishes, and 7 metres, where the wall ends. When using this method, the figure should be recorded at the end of the length it refers to. Take overall measurements so that you can cross-reference against your individual measurements when adding them all up. Don't assume that all rooms are rectangular, especially in older buildings. If rooms are irregular in plan, they are measured by taking diagonals across the room. In practice, it is wise to take several cross-checking dimensions. You'll also need to measure the room's height and any other vertical distances. Ceiling heights can be taken by measuring the door and then from the top of the door to the ceiling, or by using a laser measure. Ideally, take the measurement more than once and in different locations to establish if the floor and ceiling are level. You may also want to consider using a level. If you need the thickness of walls and partitions, these should be measured at door openings. The floor thickness can be measured at staircase openings and in riser cupboards. Remember that the measurements are important here, not the drawing. As long as the diagram is clear and the numbers correct, you don't need to produce a work of art. Take a few pictures to help you later. These are particularly important if you can't return to site. Also record additional details depending on the nature of what is required. For example, with a building survey, you might require a detailed list of finishes and their condition. Or for real estate, you might need to record what is a communal space.